Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Drummond, the host of Blackshirt Blues. I'm back with you guys now, back in action. What I want to tell you is that we have a lot of new YouTube content on the way. We kind of just got our stuff together, and we definitely want to record some more Blackshirt Blues. Davis is definitely going to be there. We're also going to have a couple of new series going on, one of which is going to be a roundtable type discussion, as you've seen with our Colorado meetup. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be fun, and hopefully you guys like it. So one thing I wanted to say is that, as we were saying sometime last year, is that a lot of these national socialist movements, such as the TWP and Vanguard America and such, these movements are all falling apart. As we predicted, they're wiped off the map. They're gone. They're disbanding, all that. They're not a factor anymore. And what do you know? The American Blackshirt Party is still going strong. And what does that tell you? That tells you that we have realistic ideas, and we're looking to make America a better place, and we're not looking to destroy America like some of these other movements were doing. Now, some of them might reform into other groups, but the same thing's going to happen, because all they're talking about is the Jewish question or racism, breaking up America into different states. That's all bad. That's bad for us. That's bad for Americans. Another thing that's bad for Americans is the whole deal going on with Trump and Syria. Trump just bombed Syria with little evidence about the chemical attack. I know maybe there was or maybe there wasn't. I'm not going to make any assumptions that there was or was not a chemical attack there, but there's little evidence to suggest that the Syrian government actually did it. First off, let's look at a couple of factors here. The Syrian government is winning their war. They smashed ISIS. Not 100% sure if they're still there. There's not a lot of things on the news about ISIS within the past few weeks. To my understanding, they're just fighting a couple pockets of rebel resistance in certain areas. Their army is strong. They have the support of Russia. They have modern equipment. The rebels do not. So people are assuming that the Syrian government just say, hey, let's chemical attack our own people and provoke Western intervention. That kind of doesn't make sense to me. It's not foolproof, and I really don't understand why Trump will just jump the gun and go ahead and shoot, what was it, over 100 Tomahawk cruise missiles into Syria. So it doesn't make sense. All it is pretty much doing is warmongering, provoking war. He's listening to the establishment, and he is part of the establishment, honestly, nowadays. It just really doesn't make sense. So we just kind of wanted to let you guys know, because this is a hot topic, what is the ABP's position on the whole Syrian incident. So here today we have Joshua Noyer and JD as well to put their 2 cents in on the subject. What do you have to say, Noyer?
I think you're 100% correct. Assad and the Syrian forces are winning the civil war. It's not even, the war is just about over. The last thing in the world he wants to do or should do would be to a weapons attack against his own people. That can only lead to one result, and that would be American intervention against his army. So that doesn't make any sense at all. I think what makes the American Blackshirt Party so special, and what explains some of our long-term growth that we've had relative to some of these other groups, like we said, the TWP and American Vanguard, which are in the state of collapse, is our principled stand in some of these issues. We just don't ape the conservatives. We don't ape liberals. We stand very principled against the spread of liberal democracy and everywhere it manifests itself. And the attempt to go into Syria and overthrow Bashar Assad and his regime is an attempt to instill liberal democracy in another country. And as fascist, that's not something we can tolerate, and it's not something we can support. So our opposition to our American involvement in Syria is based upon us supporting the Ba'athist movement over there, which was founded as a fascist movement in the Middle East. And let's not forget that Bashar Assad and his father before him have protected Christians in that country to an extent that we haven't seen anywhere else in the Middle East. Christians in Syria account for 13% of the population, and involvement in that part of the world will will replicate what happened in Iraq when we overthrew Saddam Hussein. We took a population that was 7% Christian and reduced it to less than 1%. And we have to oppose that in Syria. It's very, very important that that American military involvement is protested and opposed at this point. So the American Blackshirt Party supports the Ba'athist movement, and it supports withdrawing American military forces from that part of the world. Now, off to JD. What do you think about all this?
I think the same position. I mean, we're always going to support our troops. We love our troops. We've even done a pretty decent drive to donate to our veterans. But the thing is, why should America intervene in international politics and go to war with some random Middle Eastern country when we have children, say in Chicago, who are starving? There's violence and stuff. I think we need to focus completely on our own people.
Yeah, so just like JD said, there's children starving and being murdered in Chicago, in Oakland, California, in New York. Just think about it. I don't know where you guys live, the listeners I'm speaking to here, but growing up in the East Bay Area, the East San Francisco Bay Area next to Oakland, I've seen some pretty bad stuff. I've grown up in a bad neighborhood, and I see how it really is in our inner cities here in America. There's a lot of work that we have to do here in the States before we start working on other people's lives and in the world. And I'm not saying that we should ever work on other people's lives in the world. I'm a firm believer in that we should take care of America first and take care of America always. Take care of our problem. There's a lot of issues here at home. And so why are we looking at the globe when we have probably more issues here in America than most countries do, most other countries do? I know there's not like a civil war going on, but if you look at all the gang violence and stuff like that, the murder rate and such things is it's equivalent to a war. There's a war in the streets. There's a war in the streets of California. There's a war in the streets of any gang-ridden inner city. And that's something that we should look at, and that's something that we should think about. I totally support our military, and I totally support our country. If we do end up going to war or something, best believe I'm going to sign up, and I'll try to support our troops as much as I can. If I can get in a fight, I'll definitely do that. But it's not a good path for America. Another war is going to be devastating to us. It's going to be devastating to the economy. It's going to be devastating to our morale. It's going to be devastating to any type of political advancement we have made. It's going to send all our black shirts out to war, and nobody's going to be here anymore. All our young men will be in the Middle East once again. What are we going to do? We're going to send 100,000 troops to Syria, possibly go to war with Russia. I'm not like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but these things can happen if things spin out of control. We don't want another proxy war. We don't want another invasion in the Middle East. We need to bring our troops home, and we need to concentrate on us. Sometimes you just have to. You just have to pull back and concentrate on what's going on in the home front. And that's definitely what needs to happen here. If we do that, we'll have a better America. We'll be able to have some conversations and think about what's going on here. If we don't, it's just going to be another war, and that's going to consume our lives for the next few years or 10 years or whatever it is. We definitely don't have a good history of short wars. I'll tell you that. We don't want to see any more Americans dying on foreign soil for a cause that has no benefit or even any threat to the American people. There's no reason for us to invade Syria. There's not. We need to pull back and concentrate on us.
Yeah, I would just like to reinforce your point there about patriotism and supporting the United States. A lot of people have the mistaken perception that if you're opposed to a particular war, that you're anti-troops, you are anti-American, and nothing could be further from the truth. Our opposition to the military actions in Syria is based upon us supporting something which is in the best interest of our country. It's not always in the best interest of the United States to go to war and to bomb someplace and invade it. Iraq has proved that sufficiently. Sometimes the most patriotic thing you can do is to take an unpopular stand and support a military action like what is going on in Syria today. And let me just reinforce also what Drummond said about what's going on in the home front. We've had a progressively deteriorating situation here in the United States. Life has gotten worse and worse over time. Wages have not kept pace with inflation. People can't afford to buy houses anymore. You have a steadily deteriorating situation that needs to be addressed. And it's connected with the growth of liberal democracy here, but also the globalist agenda of spreading liberal democracy everywhere else in the world. So what we aim to do, and the most patriotic thing we can do, is to oppose liberal democracy here in the United States, oppose any attempt to spread it Syria or anywhere else in the world. And that's what the American Blackshirt Party is all about, and that's what we stand for. And I hope that you will stand with us in this fight, and standing for something that, while it may be unpopular at this time, is right for the country, it's right for your family, it's right for your neighbors, and that is fascism. So I hope you enjoyed this short podcast and our future material that we are going to put out to try to get this point across to our audience and everybody else.
So, all right, you guys heard it. That's our position, and that should definitely be your position. To all our listeners, thank you. We love you. Spread this to your friends. It's a very important message, and definitely stay tuned for some new episodes of Blackshirt Blues. Stay tuned for our other new YouTube content. I'm not going to give too much away, but we definitely have a lot planned, and definitely this is our heart and soul here. We got to stay out of Syria. We have to keep moving forward. We have to bounce back from all these Nazi movements giving us a bad name. Right now, the road is clear. So talk to your friends. Tell them about our YouTube channel. Tell them about our Facebook page. And thank you very much. Please like this video. And if you're a first-time listener and you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and help support this movement. Thank you very much. Drummond out.
One more thing before we go, guys. We have a meetup coming up. It's in Columbus, Ohio, our Midwest meetup. We have a good amount of black shirts already going there. I suggest all of you, anyone who can, coming up pretty soon. So you guys should definitely contact us if you're a member and you want to join this. Email contact@AmericanBlackshirts.com and talk to Noyer or talk to anyone who answers that email, and they would direct you in the right direction to get to that meetup. And I suggest everyone goes there. If you need to call off of work or take some time off, use your vacation hours, contact that email, then you will get the date, time, and exact place. Then we can make this happen. And this is going to be one of our several recent meetups that we've been pretty successful at, and it's great. It's just great to see this. I'm always telling you guys to meet up and take action, and it's just a beautiful thing. Ever since I started, we grew so much, and now we're meeting up. We're forming physical communities, and it's just an awesome thing to see fascists getting together like this. Okay, guys, this is JD. Please like and subscribe, and we're tuning out. Thank you.